Everybody, it is Chris from Racecar Camp, and today I'm doing a post-race teardown / inspection. Took the nut off and I was going to change this axle because we were getting a clicking noise on track, and instead I found our clicking noise wasn't the axle at all, but some bearing wobble. So pro tip, when you're racing a Miata, you really should have a left and right spare. Now we did manage to get all second place finishes for the races, but we were very uncompetitive and we got lucky. For me, I prefer the press method. It takes a lot of the guesswork out. I don't mind taking the upright off the car. It's a race car, so everything's been gone through several times, nothing's rusted on. So this should be good for you if you're planning on maintaining a track vehicle. And with that, we're gonna get started. Our outer race is finally out of the upright. This was about 1 millimeter diameter too thick. So what I did is I machined it down so that it would fit inside the inner race, but hook on that lip you see inside the race of the bearing, and boom, drops in and presses out. I've got some imperfections in my casting. I don't know if it's from previous owner or from me, but I see them now, and you're probably seeing them on camera as I get the light in there. You see some ball bearing indents on the casting and some burrs on the inside lip. Now this just locks the bearing and nothing really rides on that. So my plan is to file it down and I hope smooth it out enough that the new bearing will sit in fine. I'm going to inspect the old bearing race that came out and see if there's anything on there that indicates it was riding on that, which would maybe mean I shouldn't reuse it. So there doesn't appear to be any markings on the outer race of the former bearing. I'm going to assume that's from previous bearing install or removal or failure, and just smooth the burrs out and use it again. Pro tip is you reuse the old bearing because it lines up perfectly and will allow you to press it in without potentially wrecking the inner or outer race on the new bearing. And that's it. Pa-pa, pa-pa-pa-pa. And we know we're in far enough when the new circlip has room to go in that lip. See this ridge that the pick is stuck in? That's where your circlip will go back in. As I'm about to put this on, I thought it would be a good time to pause and show you the difference. This is, I'm 90% sure, OEM. Notice, maybe you can see it on camera, the diameter of the holes on the circlip are smaller and doesn't look like by much, but I promise you they're just a little smaller and you can't get needle nose pliers in there. If I leave it in the edit, you're gonna see that these little circlip pliers are not even remotely enough. This is like technically the tool for the job, but these are giant by comparison. So if you get the Timken retaining ring or circlip, check it. You can hold it with your needle nose and get it in and out much easier. First-ish try. Last stop is the hub, goes in, but I gotta get that race off, and they're little buggers, and I'll probably end up using an angle grinder and a disc. We'll see how combative it wants to be. It's gonna be ugly. By the way, this is the piece we're getting off. I'm gonna try and get it off the semi-correct way with some heat, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to use the die grinder. There's no way that works. We're going to try it. There's no way it works. So put this side. Yep.
find our predator sizing up his prey. Somewhat defeated, he adjusts his grip, determined to get that race off. He looks around, assesses for proper tools, and decides on safety. In classic man mode, he also protects his ears. With weapons selected, he moves in for the kill, ever so strategic and ever so precise. Now he's done it. He's penetrated the metal, his hot disc flinging sparks abound. But will it be enough? Will the predator be happy with his kill? He removes his safety gear to assess the situation. Thinking he's lucky, he reaches for the hammer and chisel.
Alright, I just got lucky. You can see my cut with the die grinder. Very careful to not cut the hub itself. And then I just hammered it, and it split the whole race. Now it didn't split it in half, but that gives me that flexibility. It should pop out or tap out with no issue now. And that is that. Celebration time. The wheel seal just sets in. I'll get a ring to tap it on like you do any other, sort of oil seal. And it just seals in the groove here on the first lip and sits on the second. So it doesn't sit right on the bearing surface. Look at that, the outer race holds that perfectly too. So like every other little oil seal, I just give it a tap. And the flange of the axle will ride in there, keep dust and dirt out. It's got to go in like this. And the problem is that you have to support the backside for it to not push the rear race in or out. Some of the DIYs that you see online or on the forums or whatever sort of just gloss over the whole backside inner race portion. This is just wet sandpaper and a little WD-44 lubricant, and then just take a shine in a shoe. My quick solve to support the inside race is to add a socket, and I'm going to put the empty side in on the socket on the race. So I'm going to put it all on my little pedestal here. And then give this a little lube and a tap on. And part of the Miata SadFab hubs are these 1mm spacers, which locate everything to the brake calipers. I don't have any slop in these axles, but I want to replace it while I'm in here. Track side, I don't really want to deal with another unknown variable. You can knock the ABS rings off these. I have a lifetime warranty on the axles and I don't want to jeopardize that, so I'm going to leave them on. And then just grab a little diff fluid and just lube everything up that you're trying to insert back into the diff, because it's all bone dry. Always use a new nut on the axle, and I do not have one. I thought I ordered one, but apparently I ordered the wrong size. So we are recycling this simply to hold everything together. You can actually change this out when it's on the ground and wheels are on it, but certainly don't drive anywhere with this already punched, nut. I hope you enjoy all of these videos. Please consider liking and subscribing or commenting. Let me know what you want to do next. Thank you, enjoy, and hopefully this shows you it's not so scary to maintain a race car.